Well, I'll bet you I'm gonna be a big star. Might win an Oscar, you can't never tell. And who's gonna make me a big star?
You're watching the C-Spine Show. I'm Dr. Craig Callewart. Please like, follow, and subscribe. It is hot out there. And today we're going to talk about heat and its effect on the body. While we're doing that, I please ask that you like, share, and subscribe to the C-Spine Show. So the thermometer has been close to 105 for the last several weeks. It's the point where it's making my tomatoes wilt, and I've had 3 or 4 laying chickens just fall over dead and probably lost better part of 1 million bees. It's just the heat stress. And so I started thinking about heat stress and going back to my medical textbooks and reading on heat stress. And a couple things happen that are interesting. Probably the most interesting thing to me is just the sleep deprivation. People don't sleep as well, and when they don't sleep as well, their blood pressure tends to rise, particularly if you're in our age group. And with the increase in blood pressure comes poorer quality sleep. So that's one of the effects. And then because the body's tired at the next heat wave, it doesn't have the resources to perspire or to sweat correctly. And sweating itself is another phenomenon which is unique to humans and mammals, is that we can push salt out of our skin pores. And when the salt is pushed out of our skin pores, the fluid follows afterwards. And that fluid evaporates. And the process of evaporation takes a lot of heat, takes a lot of energy to evaporate an ounce of water, and that's why it's cooling to us. So you can put water on various different things and it may cool it some, but the actual act of evaporating, going from a liquid to a gas, is what causes the cooling. In humans, that requires us to have enough potassium and enough sodium in our bloodstream. And as everyone knows, the American diet, particularly if you eat out, is very full of sodium. So very few people are short on sodium unless they're taking certain blood pressure medicines or if they have kidney problems. But many of us are short on potassium. And so when we're short on potassium, we then start to have muscle cramps, particularly at night. The lack of potassium causes the muscles not to work right, and being in heat, even at rest, our muscles are much more active because of the heat, and that increased activity goes along with sweating, and we lose the potassium, so that when we lay down at night, our muscles are deficient in potassium, many times deficient in sodium, and then also magnesium. And when we lay in a fixed position for a long time, our muscles begin to cramp. So what was of interest to me before I started telling you about all this is why people who develop heat stress tend to have nerve pain in the nerves that have given them trouble in the past. So if they've had a pinched nerve in the neck, people develop shoulder pains and arm pains. Pinched nerve in the low back, they develop hip pains and leg pains. But heat stress, why would heat stress make those particular muscles associated with that nerve or the nerve down the leg, why would it make those muscles hurt more than any other body muscle? Because it's all the same amount of heat. And the answer to the question is those who've had pinched nerves before have typically very active muscles in that area where the nerve is pinched, and then you put the heat stress on top of that, which makes the muscles even more active. They then tend to become tight as they lose potassium, and then we sleep at night, and we sleep balled up, and the muscles tighten even more until we go to stretch. So besides having adequate magnesium, potassium, and sodium, the exercise physiologists tell us that we are to stretch during our sleep at night so that we don't lay in a contracted position. Having a pinched nerve in your back that sends pain into your hip or leg, or a pinched nerve in the neck that goes in the shoulder blade or even the chest is somewhat common to heat exhaustion or too much sweating in the heat. Because as we were talking about, even at rest, if you're out in the heat, your muscles are constantly working and twitching to cool your body. When you've got a pinched nerve, those muscles that go to that nerve are also kind of constantly twitching, and that's what makes people uncomfortable. So both the heat and a pinched nerve cause the body to very subtly twitch, and that makes the muscles tired and causes pain. At night when we lay down, again, most of us tend to curl up in a fetal position or lay on the side, and that shortens our muscles. When the muscles have been short for a period of time, a couple hours, and then we roll over and stretch out, that overwhelms the muscles and they contract down in spasm. So that leads to heat cramps, or it leads to the type pains at night that people have when they've got the pinched nerve in the shoulder or down the leg. One of the questions that comes up at this time of year was, how do I comfortably sleep stretched out, particularly if it's hot out? So ideally, a person has air conditioning to help cool it, but you need to find a mattress top that is cool. Many people have mattress tops that are made of polyurethane or some type of foam, and those are known to trap heat. And it's not so much the polyurethane itself, is the design of the cells that make up that top. Those can either be breathable or those can trap heat. So we need to find something that's breathable, and the ideal way to sleep would be on a firm surface. This is for the low back, a firm surface with a pillow top on top of that to soften the edges of the shoulder and the edges of the hip. With the neck, a better way to do that is to use pillows to prop a person up about 10 to 15 degrees. I mean, the neck pillows need to not be under the head, because that just forces the chin down on the chest. They need to be under the shoulders and rolled up underneath the neck to try to keep mild but continuous pressure on the back of the neck. And many times people do that with a bath towel that they'll roll into something about this diameter, or take a down pillow and scrunch it up so that that fits underneath the back of the neck. And those are ways to try to stay comfortable in a bed during the hot weather. Do that is to use pillows to prop a person up about 10 to 15 degrees. I mean, the neck pillows need to not be under the head, because that just forces the chin down on the chest. They need to be under the shoulders and rolled up underneath the neck to try to keep mild but continuous pressure on the back of the neck. And many times people do that with a bath towel that they'll roll into something about this diameter, or take a down pillow and scrunch it up so that that fits underneath the back of the neck. And those are ways to try to stay comfortable in a bed during the hot weather. You're watching the C-Spine Show. I'm Dr. Craig Callewart. Please like, follow, and subscribe.
Well, I'll bet you I'm gonna be a big star. Might win an Oscar, you can't never tell. And who's gonna make me a big star? 'Cause I can play the part